world, and welcome to Code or Not to Code. I'm Mila Eva, and I'm super happy to be here today. As always, I'm here with Stefan. How are you doing?
I am most excited. It's time to write some Roslyn code. Yes.
It is indeed. If you're new to the show, the two of us meet every other week and work on one of our amazing projects. We have rather different skill levels, but somehow we make it work every single time. So yes, as for today, we're going to have continue looking at Roslyn Diagnostics and have a look at CodeActions as well. So yeah, sure to be an exciting episode. Also, right now that we're hi Eric, nice, yeah, perfect that you could join us. Yeah. Where was I? Where was I? I actually wanted to say that now that, you know, at the beginning of the show where everybody's attention spans are like super fresh and everyone's kind of like ready to go. And then I forgot what I was saying. Great. But yeah, just make sure that you give us a follow on any of your preferred social medias. Just because you wouldn't want to miss any of our upcoming shows, because today, ladies and gentlemen, we have some pretty good news, some even better news, some devastating news, and also some good news, just to end on a high note, to not leave you hanging.
All the emotions.
All the emotions on this show right here, right now. Are you ready? Yes, let's start with some good news. My amazing co-host, Stefan, is at Future Tech. He'll be giving some talks, or one talk, more talks. What are your topics?
One talk. And well, it's gotta be about interceptors and yeah, Roslyn.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one of your favorite subjects.
Indeed.
And we often announce those because Stefan is actually quite a pro when it comes to sort of like giving talks at conferences and at different places all over the world. But it's sometimes I feel a bit bad sort of announcing it here and then being like, and you're gonna miss it because it's already sold out or something like that. So I'm very happy to announce that we also have a little discount code if you want to see this in person. It's 20% off, so it's a pretty good deal. And I believe this offer ends on the 10th of March, so you still got a couple of days. Exactly. So plenty of time to get registered and have a look at Future Tech yourselves. Pretty good news. Pretty good start.
I'm putting the link in the chat and also the discount code as well, which is FutureTech_SDN20. So on checkout, you should be able to apply. If we remove it, we should be able to apply it and then get a 20% discount.
Woohoo! Awesome. I love it. 20% is a good discount amount, I feel like. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's the first good news we have, but we have some even better news.
Ooh.
Guys. We have in a previous show, we've already announced that not only Stefan and I, Stefan will go to a conference and have a great talk, but I will be joining him this time for the first time, and we're going to have a code talk as to code or not to code, I guess. The two of us are going to Oslo. We're going to speak at the NDC. We're going to have a really cool talk about pattern-based C#. It's we've already started a little bit with the preparations. I think it's going to be really, really exciting. It's a really cool talk. So if you're in the area, if you're in Oslo, please stop by. And clap really loudly. I need it for my confidence. Maybe one day I'll also be as brave as Stefan and do my own little talk. But for now, I'm very, very happy to have you by my side for this. But also, we will not stop there, ladies and gentlemen. From Oslo, we'll go straight to Antwerp, and we're going to be... and we're going to be at Techorama as well. So if you missed us in Oslo, you can see our pattern-based C# talk in Belgium. But you can also have a second talk there. So there are going to be 2 topics that we're going to be addressing there. One on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. And yeah, I'm really, really excited. I really love this website and all like the colors and the stuff. And it looks like a really fun experience. I'm really, really proud to be part of it.
Especially, on the first talk, we do something good with patterns, and then on the second talk on Wednesday, we will break bad.
We will break bad, yeah. Yeah,
I'm
but
so excited for
you
both
gotta
of
keep the balance. Yeah, same, absolutely same. Yeah, but so this was the even better news. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to go to the devastating part of this show right now. Yes, this just brings in just a whole new schedule. Like those, the conference is bringing like a bit of a schedule change for the 2 of us. So we're gonna have a little spring break with To Code or Not to Code. So we're gonna have some less regular shows here live with you guys. But as I said, there are some good news in those bad news as well. We're going to go out with a bang because we've got like 2 very, very, very special episodes coming up with for you that we've prepared or like thought about for a very long time, actually. I remember both of them we've been thinking about for a while, and we've finally been able to make it possible. The first will be, so this is why you get your notepads out, or if you follow us on social media, we'll remind you. Yes, on the 25th of March, we will be having the co-authors of this beautiful book. It's a second edition, Pro.NET Memory Management. It's a huge, massive book, but I still remember when for the first edition, I think we actually had, like, you and I had like a private session where you taught me all about memory management, heavily also like leaning on some of the concepts explained in this book. And it's really, really exciting to have the co-authors right here with us, so we can ask them all the juicy questions. You can ask them as well. So yes. Kevin, Conrad, and Christopher will be here on the show live with us, and I'm really, really excited that they could make it work. I don't think we've ever had 5 people on the show, so it's gonna be a full house, but it's gonna be great, I think. I'm really looking forward to this episode. So this is coming up in March still, and then we have a little. Oh, yes, perfect. There it is. And then we also have a little April Fool's episode for you guys on the 1st of April. And I will actually not go into detail as to what we're going to do. They're just going to have to show up and see. I think it's going to be fun. And yeah, you might also learn a thing or two for your next corporate April Fool's Day. You might be able to play some tricks on your colleagues. So if you're interested in that, also please stop by. We always love to have you. We're gonna do some April Fool's shenanigans.
Ooh.
All right. I guess so much for the intro. Roller coaster already.
Yeah.
5 minutes into woohoo. 5 minutes into the stream. But yeah, so I guess let's go. Are we happy to go to our trivia section? Because we are, right?
Trivia
Sorry,
time.
I'm interrupting you. It's trivia time. It is trivia time indeed. So today, we would like to talk to you a little bit about constructors or I guess default constructors, especially when you're working in class libraries, because I think we've had this topic or a couple of times already on this show. That when I say we had this topic, you were kind of quizzing me on what happens if you don't if you have a class and you don't put in a constructor. And the answer is, of course, you do have a default constructor that's parameterless. Doesn't have any parameters, and then if you don't specify one, you have this default constructor. By the way, fun fact, that only works with classes if you have a struct. Let's go there a little bit later. I am getting ahead of myself. More coffee is needed apparently. All right. So you always have a default constructor. But when you then actually have an explicit, you want to add an explicit constructor. What happens is, and this can be even like one with parameters. What happens? Oh yeah, and you already had an instance up there with just like the new keyword, and that kind of works. But the thing is, as soon as you have one in a class, the default constructor goes away. So it sort of takes over that land, and suddenly you cannot, you cannot create an instance like shown on the screen. This is like I find it. I need a laser pointer.
Oh yeah. Well, I now need to explicitly declare it. Yeah, but
yeah,
to
explicitly
still have the parameterless experience. Yeah.
Declare a parameterless. Oh my goodness, where's the stress on this word? Such a long word. Anyway, you have to explicitly state it, and then it works again. Okay, this is a pretty straightforward concept. And you might look at this and be like, oh, okay, well, that won't happen because it won't work for me anyways. But this can be actually an issue when you work in a class library, because they're obviously, when you're building a class library, I mean, because they're obviously designed to be consumed by different parties, and they might, there might be, I don't know, like a NuGet package or something. Somebody might use it, and you just make a slight change. You just want to add a constructor with some parameters, but you could actually introduce a break-in change there. And it might cause suddenly really, really bad problems for your consumers. And this is where my fun fact comes in. The fun fact is it's different for structs, because structs always have this, if I remember correctly, parameterless, I'm struggling with this word, constructor. So they kind of save you a little bit. But if you have a class, you're risking disappointing your consumers.
Well,
sorry, yes.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to move on already, because I was
right.
we don't introduce problems on this show. We introduce solutions, and therefore we will build a little analyzer for you today that will help you avoid those problems if you're building your class library.
This is actually a problem that I ran into a library from NuGet and well, just because usually it's usually quite well known. If you add things, that's usually, corner cases, but adding things, there's usually no breaking change. So I should be able to safely add a new constructor without breaking anything. But if there hasn't none been before, this actually breaks code. So yeah, we want to codify that rule. What I was now asking myself, actually, although we don't see it, we don't see a constructor being there. Well, not in C#, that is. But what about IL? I want to briefly take a peek at the IL code. Well, not really that I can read IL code too well, but I would like to do a bit of a diff. So we have the version with the implicit default constructor.
Yep.
And let's explicitly add a parameterless constructor. Now, they should look quite the same, apart from an additional no-op, which is no-op. But yeah, apart from that, there is no difference. So yeah, in IL, we can see this parameterless constructor being there. This is also where this common abbreviation of .ctor is coming from, because the constructor, this is how it's called in IL code. So it's there in IL, but in C# it's hidden. So let's also make it visible in C#.
Exactly.
Now you mentioned the project. This is actually why we are now launching our new project, which is flashover.analyzers, where we put analyzers and such.
Exactly, where we solve those problems for. No, we don't solve them for. Well, we also introduce, I guess, fixes, but we'll definitely make things visible for you. Yeah, so that you don't run into the same problems as Stefan. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Should we jump right in? Did I forget something?
It's time to jump into the code.
Nice, let's go. As always, there is not a single task that we start on the stream without starting with tests first. So let's have a look at those, maybe.
So what we created under the hood already is a similar shape that we had in the last episode that we built with Jason Bock, who helped us explain how analyzers and code fixers work and how you probably offer them. And we have the basic shape already, but yeah, absolutely no functionality. It just compiles. That's it. So yeah, let's write some tests.
Let's write some tests. Yes.
Perhaps it's always good to have a bit of an empty test or something. So if there is just empty code, then nothing should happen.
Yeah. Oh, I never. But okay. Is that a? Why do we need it? Sorry. Because is that? Can that happen? Can we have like an analyzer bug that just underlines code if there isn't any?
Maybe on an empty project. Well, I'm wondering. I think technically you could have a class library that doesn't have actually any types in it. So I think this could be something valid. I think not entirely certain.
All right.
Not entirely certain. Well, this came from the template, so kind of keeping this empty test from the template is nothing. Do nothing. Not codifying what you mentioned. So you also mentioned that if we have in class without a with with the implicit default constructor.
Yep.
We want to produce the warning, right? Or the diagnostic.
Exactly. Want to, because you should add it explicitly.
Would you mind adding this? I'm just keeping this line that is from the template, so that because this is the syntax, the special syntax, how you can basically specify where is the location of the diagnostic. But I always forget the syntax, so I'm just copying this down there for later. Now, would you mind writing the test code?
Yep.
To
oh my goodness.
Return, because I already had the thing there, to produce what that we intend to produce the diagnostic with.
Okay. I mean, just like just a class, my class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, is that not kind of fit? We could have copied what you had in the Sharplab before, can we?
That's perfect. No? That's actually it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. We don't even need this because we need it empty, right? Like this. Does this work?
It should be the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't need any more logic. It's just about the constructor.
Actually, as of C#, 12 or 13, you could also write this. I mean, you really need this, because what's the point of an empty type? Some marker, maybe sometimes, but rarely.
Some unit tests.
This may be an interesting corner case, though, later on for our fixer to be able to deal with that as well. So maybe let's have this as a corner case. Let's keep that in mind for our fixer, because we may want to need to be dealing with that as well. Now comes the question: where do we want to report the diagnostic? Do we want to report it like on the entire line? Maybe only on the type name?
I think the entire line is strange, right? Is that strange? Does that make me think something is completely wrong?
I'm not.
Yeah, I think like this. I think like this would be good. Yep.
Cool. There's also, since you're in writer, there's also a cool writer feature where you can actually, should I zoom in a little bit more? Now I'm not sure if I remember this. Can I do like lang equals to C#? Yes. And now, well, okay, well, we now see that it's highlighting this in blue, although it's a string.
Oh,
Now, why did it
so
detect that?
cool.
But of course, this is invalid C#. This is just this markup syntax that the package that we're using.
Yeah.
Microsoft.colonizer.c#.analyzers.testing knows of to specify the location of this diagnostics. But yeah, I guess then it kind of falls a little bit apart. But yeah, maybe that's, yeah. What do you prefer?
It's a good question. I think it's pretty cool. I think let's leave
It's
it.
pretty.
Why
pretty
not?
cool, it is. And then we want to expect the diagnostic. So with this library as well, actually we have a static. No, wait a minute, not static using. We have an alias here for this type. C# analyzer verifier that is generic with our default constructor analyzer that we're about to write, just giving it an alias so that it's a little bit shorter. And with that, we can now create a diagnostic. We still need an ID. What should the ID of our diagnostic be?
What did we have last time? We had a pretty
just said
short
code1
IDs.
because we couldn't really think of anything.
Yeah.
Usually there's like this, if you have something CS and then 3 digits, 4 digits, this then usually, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, are some C# compiler errors. We have CA and then 4 digits, which is code analysis of things that are analyzers that come with the SDK. I think Roslyn analyzers do RS for Roslyn. Well, we could do maybe F0.
I would love that. Yes.
Could also say F0A for F0 analyzers, because maybe later on we maybe also want to introduce some in our generators, and then we could say F0 gen or something like that. Or we just say F0.
No, F0A I think is good, because I think you're right. We have to think long term here, because we always have we always love to extend on those things. So let's leave it open, at least for us. That's really cool.
And then I think
one
usually get like this, but Jason suggested maybe let's just keep it short, so it would be F0A1.
Yeah.
Cool. In the meantime, the Salty Devil has arrived. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you for joining. Welcome.
And then we can say with location. Well, this with location, there is many overloads, like some where you can actually define this position that is consisting of like the path and the span, where the span again is consisting of start and an end. But this is quite tedious to write. So this markup syntax is really doing it for you. And we say here 0. So this will be with location 0. And it's the testing framework or the testing library taking care of that.
That's nice.
And well, we currently don't have any arguments. And I guess this would be our first tests, where the first one hopefully succeeds because we haven't added any code. And then the last one should fail, because then we put in our test and we expect this diagnostic to be produced. And
let's try this.
Let's see.
Let's see it fail.
The tests are not. Oh, there we go.
Oh, it just takes a while.
And
nice. Everything fails, but like, wait, it actually surprised me with the empty stuff.
Oh, null reference exception. Yes, because we actually have a null somewhere in our. So our generator is actually so bad that even nothing doesn't work. Our generator, I mean the analyzer.
I mean,
Then I guess it's time to. Oh yeah, there it is. Would you mind starting to fix it?
Sure. I guess we can get rid of the default? No, I don't know. Do we need, what is this? Diagnostics descriptor rule is default.
Yeah, here we need to create a new
rule.
A descriptor that has all this information for us.
Right.
I think that's just I think there's constructors there.
Pardon?
So we should. I think there is just constructors, so we should be able to just say new, and then take a peek at what's there.
New.
Maybe at those parentheses, yeah.
Parentheses.
Like new and then runde Klammern.
Runde Klammern. Thank you so much. Oh, I didn't do this. I swear this was autocomplete.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. We can.
Okay.
Well, we can have it, or we just because we already C# 9 or something
it.
allows us to get rid of that. Yeah, because we already it can infuse that type. And let's take a peek at the constructors.
Yep.
So maybe let's copy that so that we see what we want to add. So first, well, we need the ID. Now we could just write this ID again. But now remember that Jason last time also recommended to have them static, so that they are. We only write them once, so we can't do any typo. So let's perhaps have a public. Is this const? Will this ever change?
No, never.
Never ever.
Never ever.
Well, this would be quite breaking. If we change the ID of a diagnostic, this would be a breaking change, yeah.
But potentially descriptions or something, you know.
Well, it would only be the ID. Well, then let's make it static read only. String ID, which is now. We'll copy that over. And then we should be able to use that here and only clear it once and also use it here.
Yep.
Then the next one would be the title.
Yep.
So what should show when we go to this arrow tabs? Something like cannot resolve constructor.
Oh, I do have to write it all out here. Isn't that going to be like a little bit of a long line?
Yeah, well, what we could do is then put everything in a new line.
Oops. Type.
We could say ID and put everything in a new line, something like that.
Yeah. So what was it? Cannot something.
So no, this was just the example. Some short description. So
constructor. Wait.
Explicit
construct.
We have the implicit default constructor.
Explicit.
Only.
Don't put in break and change. No. Fire. No.
Yeah, it's about class. Class only has implicit default constructor.
Yeah.
Something
As
like
always, in those sections, I think naming things is like the most difficult thing. So also to the audience, if you have any recommendations, suggestions, please feel free to let us know. Because I mean, our regulars, Eric and Salty Devil, know we're very we struggle with naming. I think the most on this on this stream. Everything else is fine. Okay. Now I forgot what you said. Sorry. Class. No. What did you say? What did you suggest?
Class has.
Class
only has the implicit default constructor.
The implicit default constructor. Would you like to, or is this a different field then? To be like, would you like to change that?
No, this is then the fixer. So this is two different things. One is just running, and the other one is then proposing a fix to it.
Good.
Well, we can get more explicit in the message maybe. The title should be rather short. Speaking of suggestions, Eric is suggesting that since we only have like the single number digit,
True.
if we would like to group them, maybe gives me an idea. Maybe we create a separate type. We call them diagnostic ID. Diagnostic IDs. And which we make a public static class, which now has
all of these.
Maybe let's also make this a proper property. And we could call this like so. Maybe then also do a name of. And now if we had, so if you want to group them, okay, so maybe our constructor related, because if we then just go on, and now we come up with a new one where we wish we could insert this maybe after the A1. Now we can't anymore, because we can't change them. Changing this ID will be a breaking change. So if we want to do some grouping, then we perhaps even want to have these. And now I'm torn. And very indecisive. Jason indeed didn't recommend the single numbers because I think, if I recall correctly, he mentioned because what if we don't need it at all? So why even think about it? So perhaps, do we intend to, like in a couple of years, have a lot of analyzers? Sure, I guess, but who knows?
We could open one of another issue and no. Maybe we can find a compromise here as well, because you're right, that's the thing. We do tend to sort of like jump topics quite a bit depending on what sort of interests us, and if we then have an analyzer for a completely different topic because it's just interesting to us and we want to do it on the show, it might be nice to have a grouping. But on the other hand, I also see what you're saying with, are we going to have like more than 10? And then I think it doesn't really matter. And I think 10 are already quite a lot. I feel like, how many? Wait, I don't know. How many are we going to write?
I'm wondering how the .NET team is doing that.
Exactly. Let's learn from the pros.
Let's see if we can quickly find the CA. I know CA 22007, which I think is the await analyzer. And I'm wondering if they have some document. I should have bookmarked this document. I found a document once where they list all of the diagnostics and also declare a grouping, but that's not it. Where did I see this?
Oh no, never mind.
No, go ahead.
No, nothing.
No. What was that? Sharp analyzer. There's another analyzer, the underscore. If we can find that quickly, it's 1707. Hoping to find, because I found this once, but I didn't bookmark this, where there's like a list and how they group. They also have some scheme of how they actually group, I think with categories, but I'm not 100% certain anymore. Because I can't find it now. Wait a minute. Is that not? No, I will not find that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me. So, well, what we could do is, no, I don't know. I'm uncertain. Maybe let's start with, should we start with this and either to do start with a single digit or start with groupable, let's do it, fixed length kind of a thing. I guess that's the question. shall we start with that and sleep over it, and maybe we come up with the best solution after?
Let's start with the most kind of like open.
I guess there's no something in between. So yeah.
Exactly.
So this is now diagnostic IDs dot.
Nice.
And also here. Cool. Okay.
All right. We need a message format.
Message format, yeah. Which means we can also have those via those round brackets, the braces. No. Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. We can also have.
Oops, that's not it.
So the.
No, I listened. I heard what you said. Braces. I just didn't.
We can also have holes that we
else.
fill, for example, like the type name. So we could then fill in the actual type name dynamically as well. But what we can't do in the title. So title is static.
Yep.
But in the message format, we could fill in any information that we want, dynamically. So we we could say that this class, class name, only has the implicit default constructor. What we could do.
Mm-hmm. But so is that with the like this?
No. That's not with string interpolation, because string interpolation is filling these holes immediately. It's just leaving the placeholder open. So basically, you have the same thing, but write it like 0, but without the $. This is just this older string format syntax.
Easy. Like this?
And yes.
Perfect.
Cool. Then we need a category.
Okay.
Again, I'll go cheating what the Microsoft team does. So open a tab somewhere, haven't I? Did I close this? No, there it is.
Nice.
Actually, yeah, we browsed this through just before the stream started, and we think that maintainability sounds like a good category. So maybe let's do the same game here as well. Let's create a new class. We call them categories.
Mm-hmm.
And this should be a public static class. Namespace is missing. Something did not work correctly with the class categories. Yes, please. Maybe this one can be internal.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a static string maintainability. Let's make this property. And we should be able, exactly, cool.
Awesome.
Then the severity. What should the default severity be? I guess
warning.
Warning it is.
I think we should do warning. Could be dangerous. Is not dangerous yet. Potential danger is a warning.
Should it be enabled by default, or does the consumer explicitly need to enable it? Cool.
I don't know. I actually have very strong opinions here, but I'm actually also open to feedback. I just feel like I honestly think this is a good thing to know, because absolutely I would not have thought of that at all. I would have just like ran into the same issue that you were describing earlier, and potentially made life a bit difficult for everyone involved. So why not?
That's one hell of a justification. Now we could optionally add some description. Where we could say
you could break everything. Don't do this.
If something like, if an explicit constructor is added later, the default constructor, the implicit default constructor, will be removed and may break existing consumers.
Will be ignored. Removed, we said. That was removed. And may introduce. Which may introduce. Or what did you say? Introduce.
Something with a breaking change. Oops.
Doesn't work. I'm here.
No. I mean the follow button doesn't scroll horizontally.
Oh,
It
yeah.
scrolls vertically. Cool. Then we can add a link that one can click. Maybe let's link to our new project. I guess later on we should also have some documentations in our project, which then we can link to this exact markdown file maybe. But for now, let's have a link here. And I believe, now we could also add tags.
Yes.
This is something that I learned from Shahab, who was watching 2 streams ago. I didn't know this before. There is something like well-known diagnostic tags. And if you use the tag
unnecessary,
not configurable, then the user can, or the consumer can't configure this diagnostic. So they cannot change the severity to maybe info or error or none. So this basically freezes the severity. And if you make compiler, if you say compiler tag, now this says that you cannot suppress the diagnostic.
Perfect.
You could go to a no warn and then say F0A001. Now this diagnostic won't show up. Not configuring the severity, but really suppressing it. And with that, it's not possible. But no, we don't want it. Because I kind of would argue, well, if...
No, I do want those both tags. I think that's good. I think
so. It's not configurable and not suppressible.
Yeah.
Because I would argue it should be configurable and suppressible. But we have our defaults set.
Okay, fair enough.
You would want them? You know what?
No, I mean, you are
want to discuss this with you later. But let's start with
technically, I think it could be really it could be really annoying, and it could sort of like make people stop using analyzers, and that would be awful. So let's just be a bit more. Let's give the users some freedom.
Well, I guess if there's only a singular analyzer in our project, then it doesn't really matter because there's only one. Why do you suppress this one analyzer? Just remove the project. But if we have more later on, maybe we do have 100 analyzers, maybe user only wants to opt into a handful of them, then making them configurable or potentially even suppressible would be a good experience. But the consumer has to explicitly do that. Per default, it's in and it's a warning. And if you have warnings as errors, it won't compile.
Yeah. It could also be like if we make a mistake and we have a bug and it doesn't work properly and then you can't even suppress it, that might also be really annoying.
That is a good argument.
Not that we made mistakes ever. It's just hypothetical. I'm a very imaginative person.
Cool. I believe we have our rule ready. Now we get a warning because we do have...
Yep.
So no, wait a minute. You mentioned before. What did you mention? You mentioned...
unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Cool. I don't know what that means. Indicates that the diagnostic is related to some unnecessary source code.
Oh, okay. No, that's the opposite of what
actually, the opposite would be, hey, you explicitly declare, I guess this would be then, somebody else could write an analyzer that says something like, hey, if I have a class and I explicitly declare a parameterless constructor, this could now be an analyzer saying, hey, this is unnecessary because you get this per default unnecessary code. So we could have a rival, our nemesis.
The battle of the analyzers. All right, but is that everything? Oh, text was the last thing. Yeah. Oh, that's
Cool.
good.
And then, well, I think that the last three, they are all optional. But yeah. So I guess now we should be in a state where we can actually run this test, actually all of them, and see how far we go.
Yeah.
And well, the empty one should succeed indeed. The non-empty one says, well, we expected one diagnostic, but we actually have 0.
Yep.
So yeah, but now it's time to report the diagnostic. We already have the concurrent execution, and we do not want to analyze generated code. But now it's time to register an action. But the question always is, which action? Because there is many to select.
Okay. No. I'm just reading them.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about is last time we used this syntax node action versus a symbol action. What I'm leaning towards to is though the syntax action, because, well, what one could write is maybe something like make this partial, and then have in different document or the same document the same thing. Now we actually have, if we jump to the syntax tree, we actually now have 4 class declarations. So we would need to, because we say here, oh, there is no explicit parameterless constructor, but what if it's here, my class? Now we can't want here, nor there, because it's actually here. So I think a symbol would be the more stable approach.
Yep.
So let's go with the symbol action, and this one takes some action and also the symbol kinds that we want to register our action for. So we can say analyze, not sure what yet, and which kinds do we want to, is there maybe something like a class declaration or a type declaration? Named type. Name type sounds good. Symbol is a name type, e.g.
e.g. class. Perfect.
Super. Then we say analyze named type, create that action, and have here our context. And what's next? What we need to end up with is we need to report the diagnostic.
Yep.
And we need to create this diagnostic. We went through this in our previous stream with JSON, where we can now pass in our diagnostic.
And if you missed our previous stream, you can always head back to our YouTube channel and watch any episodes that you might have missed. I really highly recommend it. Jason's a really good teacher. He's been with us before in the past, and you always learn so much from him. It's a good watch. I recommend it.
perhaps we may even get back to the episode ourselves when we hit a roadblock.
Yeah, potentially. I should have watched it as well again as preparation for this.
And we need the location that we're not sure yet. And also, yes, and here we can also pass in the arguments, which is this format hole that we want to fill. So we also have a string arg, which should be then the class name or the type name. This should be the class name. Here we need to get the location, and then this should be our report. But how do we get to, well, the location and this class name?
Good question. How?
So on the context, we have the symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea what a filter span is.
Okay.
I can check if it's generated code, which it shouldn't, because we said don't analyze generated code. Perhaps the symbol.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the symbol? We can, I guess this is what we have a test for.
And we can debug it.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
So that we know what we can cast it to.
Nice.
Probably some I named type symbol, but let's find out.
Sounds good.
Oops.
I'll take that. Yeah.
You see it already? Yes. So if we do get type. Okay, so this is a oops, non-error named type symbol, but I think this is an internal type.
Okay.
Which I think then the non-error, this is internal. I guess I'm fairly certain this should be an I name type symbol because, well, we see here name type, so this should be the name type symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I guess we can even explicitly cast to it. And now, would you mind trying to find, because we need to find out, first of all, is this a class?
Yep.
And do we have any, well, we actually don't have a test for the class yet. Actually, let's add this later when we actually have the test for this, because currently we just want to report it.
Mm-hmm.
So is class and has any constructor we want to test later. I still need to get the location. So maybe do we find, there is locations where the symbol was originally defined either in source or metadata. Some symbols, for example, partial, there it is exactly. Some symbols, for example, partial classes may be defined in more than one location.
Nice.
Well, I guess we also should add a test for that.
Yep.
So then test would be, just copying this quickly and say partial class, where we say partial. Do we then want to report on one or on both?
Good question.
Is there some
maybe would it be too much to do it on both?
I don't think so, but
because then it's like wherever you're at the moment, because it could be that you're working like with colleagues and different projects, and it's not even you're just extending on a class that someone else wrote, and so like if you have it in the original bit, you wouldn't even see it, but like as you're like writing it, I want it to pop up wherever the person coding is currently located. So I can only know that if we have it everywhere, right?
So we can also have no, I like that. So there's also an overload of the create method that takes additional locations. So that looks promising. So we have our main location and additional locations. And I guess we should now be from our locations be able to construct that. So maybe we could maybe say the first location, and the additional locations would be the locations, and where we skip one.
Awesome. Yep. Okay. Perfect.
We still need the class name though. Would you like to give it a try to extract the class name from the symbol?
Yeah. I can always give tries. Symbol dot. I'm just gonna look for name, member names, meta is namespace. Is it just name? What is name?
Gets the symbol name. That sounds
name.
promising.
That sounds perfect. Easy, done.
Then let's use that. And let's see. In our test, I guess we can actually now also expect arguments. So we could say diagnostic with location 0 with arguments, and the arguments should be my class. Maybe let's make a mistake here so that we saw it failing first.
Yep.
Import. Oh yes, I make a mistake because I have the same location here twice. So let's say this is location 1. Oh, how can we specify multiple locations? Do we need to specify this twice actually? Do we have an expected and a var expected 2, where we say expected dot with location 1, so that we have both, and just pass in here then an array of expected 1 and expected 2.
Just gonna check if there's a with locations. None.
Is there?
No.
No. What does location has an overload that takes multiple of these? Doesn't seem to be either.
Okay, so I guess we have to do it with as you did, I suppose. Okay.
Let's give that a try, and we invalid mismatch between number of diagnostics returned. We expected 2, but okay, because with this additional location, it's actually just a singular location. Maybe we cannot.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. What was the with arguments that we wanted to see fail? Because we would have had it. The argument would have been my class because that's the name of where we want the squiggly. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Expected 0 additional locations, but got 1. Is there something additional? How do we do an additional location? Is this not supported by this framework?
No, that's impossible. Is that possible?
Let's see. Gets the locations where expected diagnostic is reported. An empty array is returned for no locations. Spans.
Remaining locations, yeah.
Do we need to? Spans. Okay, how do we fill these? Oh, do we need to do this separately so that doesn't seem to be a wither for that? Do we need to do that manually? That would kind of be unpleasant.
Yep.
It's unpleasant.
It is unpleasant. What a wonderful word, though.
Because
we always say something along the lines of it fills our hearts with devastation and sadness.
Yes.
But it is unpleasant for sure. Okay.
Maybe that's for simplicity, because I have no idea how to do this properly. Because the framework that we use here, we would need to write now our own code how to extract this location.
Okay.
I don't know how to fill the spans even, because there is no facility of well, actually, we would need to use the constructor ourselves of this diagnostic with. Wait a minute. Diagnostic result. Yes. So we would need to say our expected is this diagnostic result, and which has hope one constructor. This one. It's a bit tedious, but how do we create this diagnostic locations? We would need this file position span. Well,
okay.
Well, maybe let's do it. Yeah, we would need to, because now we would need to do the counting 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a little bit not so refactoring safe. Maybe it's perhaps to do report additional locations, maybe for the sake of this stream, because I guess this could be maybe an entire separate episode, how to expand this thing with a wither where we can say with additional locations. And yeah, maybe we then export this as a library so that other people who are facing this issue can use that too. Or we maybe want to submit that to the actual testing library for Microsoft and expand this with that feature.
That would be pretty cool. That would be a good credit to have,
Extreme
I suppose.
to add
I think it would be fun. I
Microsoft.
don't know. Would it be fun? Definitely interesting.
Interesting. I guess a little bit painful because I'm not sure how easy it is to parse this syntax here, but it should be doable.
Anything's doable.
Where
there's a will, there's a way.
Locations. Cool. Okay.
Awesome.
That's for later.
Future. Okay.
We only have a singular location. So in this case, only, let's assume the first one for now.
Okay.
So we don't have any additional locations. We just take the first. And actually, let's comment this out for later. That's a to-do. I never used additional locations so far. And that succeeds.
Awesome.
For this one, this one fails though because we didn't specify the arguments. So we have the diagnostic. Oh, this is actually what I wanted to say. What I wanted to see fail earlier. There's class 0.
You got your wish. Sorry.
Because we haven't replaced the 0 with the my class, and we need to say with arguments to fill this hole with whatever we specify here. Yeah. So that verifies that our implementation is good. Cool. Now we have still two corner cases. Well, not really corner cases. This should not trigger. You mentioned this in the trivia section. Struct.
Should not trigger with the structs. Yep.
Does not report the diagnostic. So here we just say struct my struct. We should be able to write it like such. And we should have no diagnostic. But for now, this test will very likely fail.
Oops.
And it does because, our diagnostic is reported, but we didn't expect it to be reported.
Okay.
So would you mind guarding this reporting diagnostic to do only if it is indeed a class?
Yeah. Is this where, because okay, I actually, I'm guessing here, but because we excluded generated code, is this something that I should add somewhere there as well, or is it actually in here that I should guard?
No, I think we can exclude generated code. I think we can even go so far to say debug.assert. In this case, is generated code is always false because of this configuration.
Okay, but there is no context exclude spans, please. No. Okay.
No, I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's fine. I'm probably completely going off track. Okay, so let's see. We have to do this right at the top. Do we need this? I don't know.
No, we won't. No, we need to check if the symbol is a class.
Oh, then we need the symbol.
Or if it's not a struct.
If symbol is abstract, oh my goodness, no, that's
not abstract. If it's a class.
No, it's just the I know it's the autocomplete. That's
what I saw what you saw earlier. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's the first one, but yeah.
But what
do we have?
Local com import generic type.
It's not generic, but we don't care about
class?
genericness. Sealed static type. Ooh, there is if it's a value type. Do you know what a value type is?
Yes.
What's a value type? Are you bluffing?
Yes. So a value type is this thing where you can kind of how it's sort of stored, because like it's the opposite, I guess, of a reference type, because a reference
Yes.
type sort of shares a reference, and a value type, I guess, shares a value with,
And
does that make sense?
yes, and which is a reference type and which is a value type?
I think struct is a value type, potentially.
And does this mean reference type is a class?
Yep.
That is correct.
Woohoo! Oh my goodness.
Actually, notice there's also a check for that if it's a reference type. So we should be able to use that.
Well, should we? And not.
Nah, let's just check if it's a reference type. That should be quite enough.
Okay, I got it. Reference type. Then
because this is what we're checking for. Is it a class?
Then we want to do everything, right?
We could do that, or we turn it around and say if it's not a reference type, then we return. However you prefer.
Easy. Yes, like this. That seems better.
Cool. Now let's see if the test turns green. Maybe let's run all of them. And it doesn't trigger. Splendid. Maybe let's be sure. Because there is also, it could also be a ref struct. Shouldn't trigger for that as well either, my ref struct. Now I'm thinking about, what about record types?
Ooh.
What about record types? They could be tricky. Let me check. I'm not sure. I always forget. I don't even think you can have a record type without, or can you? So can we have a record that is basically like so? The type namespace yes. My class, because this is what it is, record class. Yes, you can. And this would not be the same thing. It's different for record.
But that's okay, because on symbol there is an is record thing that looks promising. So we can check for that.
But for record, yeah, do we want to report? Okay, do we want to report it if it's a record? So if we have that, if a user would write this, well, because if we were writing like, I don't know, we have something.
Yep.
Now, okay, now the default constructor is of course gone, but because we only have the explicit one, so here we don't want to report it. But what if records are kind of, well, technically, if it is a record and somebody defines like the record like so, then we would need to explicitly say public my class empty here as well. And this doesn't work because a constructor declared of a type parameter must this constructor initialize. Okay, this. But this doesn't work because it's already declared. The compiler emits this because of that. So this is ambiguous. So I guess for records we don't wanna. I think this is invalid for a record. Is it? But here we have it as well. Do we? Okay, so we don't want to report it for records. I guess that's the takeaway. So record types does not report diagnostics. So if we have a public record class, if we have a public record class with an empty parameter list, let's call this my record 1, my record 2, also for a record struct, we don't want to report this either. So this should cover most cases, and let's exclude these as well.
Yep.
Have you already fixed it? Did the test just green?
No. Is it green? I just I removed it. I removed it.
No, leave
quick
it.
enough.
Well, tests are green. Well, I just want to see the test fail actually.
Yeah, okay, I remove it.
Not before.
Go for it.
Because maybe the test is bad, but I was surprised by just working.
Yeah, sorry. Got overly excited.
Well, this is, yes, there we go. Failing. Okay, would you mind bringing it back?
Yes. It's back. Did I save? Yeah.
And if we run, and splendid, I don't need to change anything. Yes.
Woohoo! I get another gold star.
That's amazing. Actually, so I never, could you be my production code assistant? I only write tests in my job, and you just do the rest.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Cool. And well, do we have any constructor? I think that's the last check that we figured. So if we have,
yeah,
maybe let's use this one. If we do have well, let's put it up. Let's first have the no ops and then the actual ones. Does not. If we have a class with explicit constructors, then we do not. In the case of, so let's get rid of the expected, we just pass in the code. If we have here a my class that has a public, wow, writer can autocomplete raw string literals to the C# code. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Or we have a my class 1 or my class 2 that maybe has a constructor that takes a string. For the fun of it, let's have one that takes a string, that has a constructor that takes a string, formatting this correctly, a string, and one with an int. And this should not report any diagnostics. But I have the feeling we now get 3.
Yeah, I didn't fix anything.
And we do. Now, please, after the test is failing.
Yeah.
So because we only want to report it if there is no constructor found, which means we get the implicit default one.
Yeah. Okay, but how do we know that if no constructor?
Perhaps the symbol has the information about the constructors it
Perfect.
contains.
Constructor. I mean, it has constructors.
Cool. And these are mutable array of I method symbols. Ooh, now I'm wondering if we have the implicit default constructor, is that part in that list? Maybe it should be part of that list. So perhaps we may want to refine that, but maybe let's start with, if we have any constructor, don't report. Maybe we can do something similar and then just return.
Is not null.
No. It's an immutable array. So
yeah.
an immutable array is a struct, so this cannot be null. Therefore, we need to check if it's empty or not empty. And I think immutable array has a property like such, if it's empty, if I recall correctly.
Is empty. Yep.
So if it's not, then
exactly.
return.
If it's not empty, return. I guess potentially we could also add it up there, but I don't know.
Let's take a look at it. And okay, now another test is failing. Okay, anyway, with the one that we intend to. Oh yeah, okay. So the new one that we added with the explicit constructors, this one passes, but we broke existing tests because, okay,
great.
If the implicit default constructor is added. So actually, constructors will never be empty. Because if we don't specify one, we have for a class, if we don't specify one, we get the default. If we do specify one, then we get the one specified.
Okay.
So I guess we need to do some link and see if there is
link. It's toasted training here.
I'm
no,
wondering,
we did. Yep.
Because constructors, that's an I method symbol. I'm wondering if the method symbol has something like is default constructor, but I guess no.
No. Is default or empty? No, that's not it. Okay.
So I guess how do we check if the constructor, there is no like I constructor. Constructor. Well, it's a method, and the method should have like parameters. And if the parameter length is 0, ooh, but do we now know if this is the one that we specified?
No, is it? Yeah. Well, I don't know, but
if it's user defined or not. Is there something like is user defined? Compiler generated? Damn, we may not know that. So maybe
can we
do need to check the syntaxes as well.
Yeah.
To find if there is any constructor declaration. No one containing more than space. If there is anything that could give away that it is not user defined. I don't think. No, we don't know that.
Should we try it just to be sure? It could be. We could be optimistic.
Yeah, but well, the thing we know is that the parameters.
Yeah.
But if we define our explicit one, that also has a parameters of length 0. So I don't think we really can, unless, well, which I kind of doubt. I'm just doing this as empty again, just to compile. If this is some other derived type, but I kind of doubt it. This must, because why not use that type?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's a method symbol. And we're just posting in this into here. Something like user code default implicit is implicitly declared.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Let's give it a try. If we have any. Wait a minute. No, what do we need to check?
Well, if the constructor is implicitly
we could check
declared true.
If the length is exactly
false.
Yes,
no.
But so if the length is, we could check if the length is exactly 1. Then we also need to check if this single constructor has this property set to true. Not sure if any will work, but let's give it a try.
Wait, it is not.
Well, maybe it may. It does. Okay, no further questions.
Oh my god! Perfect.
Very good. Very good. Why does this work? Because if we have 2, then neither of them is implicitly declared. If we have exactly 1, then this one is not implicit, then it's empty. Yes, very good. Very good.
Okay.
Okay, this was perfect. Just trying them all again. And here we have an analyzer. Now I want to see it in action. It was really good. You know more than I do already. Yeah, we are. You are taking this show over. I see. I need to be careful.
It's taken a while. But I'm catching up finally.
Well earned. We still the library thing we may still want to check, but perhaps we come to that at the end of the stream. Otherwise, we.
Yeah.
Well, we will always run over, won't we? I was not hoping here to get the diagnostic, but perhaps we are doing something wrong. Can we restart?
It's not working.
Restart was in analyzers and source generators. I was hoping it does.
Yeah.
But perhaps, well, this is very likely on me. I may have made a mistake setting these up. Do we maybe need this? But I doubt it. Quite uncertain. I need to come back to that. Oh, is it maybe is Roslyn component? Is Roslyn? Okay, I need to look that up. I'll come back to that. But let's.
Yep.
I'm wondering, can we test this quickly? There is a way, but I'm not sure if we can figure this out very quickly to check that it's only reported, because I guess that's the last step, to only report if it's a library. So if we are in a
yep.
non-library project or non-DLL, then we do not report a diagnostic. So in that case, question is, how can we set that up?
Yeah. We need to
just copying this code to do this directly. This is now the this one.
Can we? Huh. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Continue.
No. What do you mean? Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering on how we would know whether it's a library project or not. But is that the thing with the output type?
Yes, exactly.
That we can somehow get to.
Questions if we can set this via this type, because this is a type that comes from Microsoft.codeanalysis.tests. If we go into there, oops, this is a type that comes from Microsoft.codeanalysis.testing from this package. And I think there is a way, but it may not be. I'm not sure if we can quickly. Yeah, with this transform solutions, I suppose. But that's a little bit verbose. Just checking if there is quick like options transform, markup options. No, I think we need to do the solution transform. Let's just see if we can figure this out quickly. Otherwise, we make XE. So we're passing a solution. And a project ID. If we ask the solution to give us this project, get project by this ID, we get, of course, our project. And this project should have options. Project dot, I have a déjà vu as well. Something similar. I may just steal some code. Solution dot with compilation. This looks promising. We get the project. Get the compilation options. Actually, let's steal that. Let's get inspired by it. Yeah. We get the project. We ask it for the compilation options. In our case, we are fairly certain that these are C# compilation options. Well, maybe the regular compilation options suffice. Then we want to change these options with the output kind. Yes, indeed. Where we say this is now a console application. Wait a minute. This may be the default. Perhaps console application is default, but let's figure it out. And then we return a new solution, because everything is immutable, with this project compilation options for this project ID with these new options. Cool. And if we make something an exe, could also say the opposite would be make it a library. But if we do that, now we would expect this to produce 0. Oops. To produce 0 diagnostics. Let's see if this holds true. Now, I'm not sure what the default is. The default may be, yeah, this actually is producing, program does not contain. Oh, no, there we go. No, so it is a library per default, but since this is a program, we don't have the main method. So let's have a public static class program where we have our public static void main. Yes, indeed. Let this be quite empty. And this should suffice. So now it's an executable with this class, but we do not want to report that over there. But we do. So please also, in the analyzer,
Yep.
do not report if the options is not of kind library, where we should find this out via the context, because this context also has the compilation, and via the compilation we should be able to get the options and then go from there.
If context options, can I put this all in one thing?
Are there? Oh no, there isn't. Oh, excuse me, those are different options.
Oops.
Compilation.
Sorry. Yes, compilation. Oops.
And these may have options.
Options, done.
And these now may have the output kind.
Yes.
And
not dynamic input library, right? What was it?
If it's not a DLL, so if it's not a library, then we say no.
Oh, what did I do?
Oh, this is not how you negate a Boolean expression.
Oh.
You don't write equals, but not equals.
Not equals.
So you do the exclamation mark.
No.
There, yes. So it's exclamation equals.
Perfect.
Yeah. Or you could also write is not, if you prefer the more English syntax.
No. Return.
Cool. And let's run the test.
Dun.
This should be all greens. Cool. Just be a little bit more strict, because we do test for an exe. Maybe we can make this, can we parameterize this? Because what about others? So maybe let's say this change output type. And we have our output kind, that is change output kind.
Yep.
We make this we're using MS Test here. I totally forgot what the test data is. For would you in the meantime mind looking up how MS Test is doing this inline data that I totally zoned out on? Then we parameterize this.
Data.
And we say solution SLN and purge goes to SLN purge and the output kind. Put the output kind in here. And this does not work because, change output kind.
So I believe it's data row potentially.
Cool.
And then
passing this in here. So if it's a console or a Windows application, cool. So we test 2 at least. So because we could make the check if it's not a console application, but we do the proper check if it's not. So if it is a console application, then stop, but we want to stop for anything that is not a library. Wonderful. All green. I still need to figure out how to, so that we actually see it in action.
Yeah.
I think it's time to jump to the fixer, isn't
Fix the, yes, let's fix it.
I guess testing time. So if we have, let's say we have a class, actually, if we have our diagnostic, then we want to add a parameterless constructor. Let's use a similar example as we have before. Length equals to C#. We go public class, my class. Now the diagnostic should be here. I totally again zoned out on this syntax.
Yeah, me too.
Where is it? There it is. So we have the diagnostic over here. I guess we also need the, let's also get this diagnostic. Gonna need that too. And then what should the output be?
An explicit parameterless constructor.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So instead of something like this, we want to have something like public this.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And yes, so if we run that, I guess now it's here is now quite, yeah, with corner cases could be quite interesting there when it comes to fixing code, because this should work also what we stated earlier. Not having a body, but just a semicolon at the end. This should produce something similar too, so we need to add this body as well. And what if there is a method already? But yeah, I guess this is now then some corner cases that we could iterate on later. But let's get like some basic form working. Just adding one more public void method in here already. There's the question, where do we add it, at the beginning or at the end?
What? At the beginning, right?
So at the beginning, okay. So then what we expect is this, that we have
okay.
the constructor added before. Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, and missing spaces. Cool. Okay, so a set of tests. And let's see how far we get. Let's at least get one green, and then we see how much time we have. How much time we have gone over.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Now the markup location number 0 was not found in the input. Oops, I have a mistake somewhere.
In the input.
Because we find here, but then it's there. No, this is doing something wrong here. Because this one, we stated here. The markup location 0 was not found in the input. Oh, is this maybe because we still have the problem? Because here we still have the diagnostic. I think because, no.
Huh?
Maybe because we don't add this, so the output actually is still the same, and then we still have the diagnostic. This may
you can
be the case.
try it by just removing or like having the same code in the input and the output, and then we know. Right? Yeah, like this.
That is an excellent idea. Yes, and this is passing because we don't change anything. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's fix it.
We indeed also have this in a separate library. That's how JSON recommended it because this one is not, because the analyzers are using Microsoft Code as a C#, where the CodeFixer, so everything, but also code refactorings, they use Microsoft Code as a C# workspaces, so they don't conflate these two concerns. And yeah, now it's time for the fixer. We have a fixable diagnostic. Cool that we have our diagnostic IDs dot here.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess now it's time to explore what we actually have. I'm getting something suggested.
Yeah, root something. What? It was. Sorry.
Can I get back to this? Because maybe that's a good start point.
Easy.
Oh, configure wait false. Yeah, we should be doing that. We should be doing configure wait false everywhere. But this is a diagnostic we should enable that points that error out to us. So
Okay.
now I'm not just wondering what do we, so diagnostics, basically, what is our state? Oops, did I remove that? Yes. So we have one diagnostic.
Yep.
Which contains this argument and the location. Okay. We have the document. So we know, okay, some generated document by the frame, by the library. The span, I guess this should also be like the location, I would assume. And the test document again. What's the difference between document and text document? Not sure. But this we have at hand. And with a document, we could get the root. So now actually, in the last stream, actually, now I do go look it up.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Jason showed how.
Woohoo! It's us. My face.
So we went, yeah, the document. Also, no, we also asked for the. We asked for the syntax root.
Yep.
And then with the syntax root, we could find node.
Yep.
Pass in the source span, and then let's see where we are.
What the node is. All right.
You know what? I keep this open. In the meantime, I look on a different tab how to get this working. Let me know when you have it ready.
I think, well, because we went to like the parent as well. I think that's the only thing I'm missing. I think I'm done. Cool. I'm not sure if I'm done because we have context.span and there we had location.sourceSpan. Don't know if that's if I did it wrong.
Let's see where we go.
Yeah.
So run the test and see, because I guess what we need is the class declaration so that we can add the constructor declaration to it. So what is our, when we call this find node, we actually get the class declaration syntax. So we don't want to get the parent of it, because this would be now, depending on whether, nested classes, we also need to then, this would also be corner cases to test nested classes. If they're public, there's a lot of, actually, is it public? We also need to check if it's public. There's so much more to check and corner cases. Well, maybe not, but yeah, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
So we already have the class declaration, so we can immediately cast that. So we know without the parent, with our class declaration. Cool.
Okay.
And now we need to figure out what to do. How can we add this node? Can you remember which tool that we're using for that?
Yeah.
How
Was
we
it?
build this syntax node?
It was some. Was it called Roslyn quota or something like that?
Roslyn quota, indeed.
Nice.
So let's say we have our class here. And what we want to generate is the syntax node or the syntax tree for this.
Yeah.
How does this look like? So here's our class declaration with modifiers for a keyword with members. So we want to say, basically, this is what we want to say.
This is what we want to say, yeah.
Just
except for the name has to be
in here, and also what this code is using, it's using the static using as the syntax factory, because you would need to write syntax factory before all of these. We could also generate it like so, but it always says syntax factory. Would you like to say the syntax factory, or would you like to be able to omit it and have a static using so that it gets a little bit shorter? So do you like explicitness there or brevity?
You know, I'm open. I think the brevity looks a little bit more manageable, but
then we add a static using to syntax factory.
Okay.
And okay, let's try to, if we can say node with, can we actually just, yeah, basically enable this? Not quite, but almost.
Almost.
We don't have a missing reference, and I guess some problems with braces, and this would be a new node. Now we need to do replacing because everything is immutable. Actually, oh no, wait a minute. We first need to register this as a code fix because we don't have the document just yet. So we need to say register code fix.
Yep.
Which takes the action and the diagnostic. The action would be add parameterless constructor. And the diagnostic, I think we said dot first, right? If I remember correctly. Let's create this method. No, not a property.
Oops.
Why do you not want to create a method out of that?
Is it in the create other?
Code action. Oh, no, again, my bad, because we need to create this code action.
Oh, okay.
Is code action to create. And this one takes this action, I suppose, and what else? Title. So we need some title.
Nice.
And also, no, is that it? Cool. Then we have our action here, and we create, now we can create a method, yes. So we have our cancellation token, but we also want to pass in this node, if that's sufficient. But also, we also need a document, which we get from the context. Now we should have everything we need to say cancellation token. Oops, no, it's like not cancellation token. We get in the document and the node, which is a class declaration syntax. Now we have a new node, and now we need to return a new document where we say document with. Oh, we need the root actually. So perhaps we pass in actually the root in here. So let's say let's say this one. Syntax node root. Wait a minute. And we need to have a new root where we replace the node, we replace the old node with the new node. Now we have a new root, and we say with new root, and then we return that. But it's not quite it, because that's a task of document. So we could say, maybe we should do, because that's the expensive, I guess. Getting since this is asynchronous, I think this is expensive. So maybe we should only do this when this code action really is executed. Because I think this is executed immediately, as when we do Alt+Enter, for example, because we need the title. But then the actual code fix is only executed if the user selects the code fix. So we shouldn't do anything expensive in here. So we do actually pass in the document. So we should also pass in this span. Text span. And we get the root in here from the document. And the span and the cancellation token, but we don't have the node. This is context.span. And this is complaining because equivalency key. What was that? What did we add there? I think the name of this provider, right?
No clue.
Cool.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Now we can make this async, also static. Yep. That should be cool.
Okay.
Well, let's see how far we get.
Yay! Perfect.
Ooh, cool. What about the other test? We have, I guess this is the one that doesn't have the body.
Yeah.
And there the text looks a bit, I'm posting this into here so that we see a little bit more. So the difference is because we don't really add a new line there. And this is a bit messed up. So how do we do that? Does this mean in that case, we also need a body? Well, okay, there may not be two options. We support this case, or we don't report on this case.
I would definitely report on this case.
Definitely report.
Because it is the same danger, that you can introduce there. It might be a little more difficult. No, I don't know. I think it's actually exactly the same danger that we want to warn people of. So I guess we have to do it. We don't have to do it today if it's going to be a pain.
Right. Yeah.
But we should definitely do it at some point.
Because or is it only the formatting? Or is it only the formatting? Because we have a class declaration with members. It doesn't really say. Is it this? Because we don't do the normalized white space. Is that it? If we say normalized white space, that'd be too easy though.
Yeah.
So what's the diff now? Yeah, it's still kind of
Okay.
Diff shown with expected as baseline. So that means this is our expected. But what we actually have is that, yeah, this just added afterwards. So we are missing an opening brace there. Also, we call this my class here. This should be the name of this class declaration, really.
Okay, yeah. That's
So
a good shout.
Should be dot identifier, dot text, dot value. Value text. I always forget what the correct thing is.
Well, can we debug? Or
To
just
yeah, because the thing is, you could have an well, C# has so many features. You could have a at before, and then depending on maybe we do it in this test on the working test. You could have an at before.
Yep.
At here. So what does this mean now? Debug. Dot text includes the at. Value text does not include the at. And yeah, so that's the difference. So I guess in this case, you really want to use not text, but value text instead.
Text. Okay.
So if we have text, we should have a failing test. Yes, we do, because we expected no at, but actually have the at. And if we use value text, oops, that's not the test, that's the test. Then we do not have this at character, and cool.
It passes perfect.
I'm not sure how we properly get the singleton list. Also singleton list. This is also not quite correct. Is there something like add members? There is add members. Maybe add members is the correct way here, because with members we would really replace these members. But you don't want to replace. I guess this is also failing our third test, because in our third test, we didn't take a look at yet, we get rid of this method.
Okay.
So we definitely want to use add members, where we say member declaration syntaxes. And well, there's no singleton list, so we just have a, is that a params? It is a params. So I guess we should just be able to, oops, my wider starts freezing up a little.
Oh, really?
Let's see if that suffices.
Nope.
What's wrong here? So in our baseline, we say my class. Oh, I think that's the order now. Order, because we didn't add it on the top.
Okay.
So does add members have something like an index to say? No. Haha. Well, there is a members.add range. But I'm not sure if this is accessible. It is. So maybe we can say, freeze up again. This is hard. Members.add or insert. And we insert it at index 0. And now this doesn't work anymore. Because members.inserts returns a syntax list. Okay, so we would need to copy this. and say, well, maybe let's form it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Let's get this constructor declaration out. Low memory. Wait. I'm wanting low memory. You have something like a memory leak?
Uh-oh.
Well,
I can ask our guests next week what they think. They're experts on this stuff.
oh, yes. And then we say with members,
Yep.
where we say, can you hear that in the background?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Let me know if it's annoying.
No, it's not annoying me. I can't wait. I can't wait for summer when we have like the playground outside my window again.
No, not quite.
Okay. What's missing?
No spaces. Okay.
Oh my goodness. All right. If anyone's been to the stream before, you'll know that this is like the bane of our existence. These little spaces. Oh,
we do edit, but well, okay. This is not too easy because, well, even if we had the space working, just edit at the beginning. So, well, it kind of works. It's just a spacing problem.
yeah.
Maybe we need to say normalize white spaces. Do we need to say? I'm just doing normalize white spaces everywhere now. This may be total overkill. Well, it's got to be total overkill. Or do we just say normalize white spaces once at the end for the new root? Maybe this is the way to go. But what if, okay, yeah, it's still these two nasty spaces.
Yep.
But what if, what if we had fields? Let's say we have a public read-only int number here, just saying to 0, or let's do 1 to 3, and maybe this method is returning it. So return number. There we go. Now, where do we want to insert this constructor? I guess after the fields, right?
Yeah.
Since this is like our code style.
Yep.
Int return number. See if I got that right. Not quite. But now we insert it just because we do the insert at the beginning as a first member. So we would need to find, yeah, well, I guess this is where we now, what's that? The 80-20 rule is now where we would spend, because again, that's moved now. Yeah. This should be now the 80-20 rule. We spent 7 more streams just to figure that out.
Yep. Pretty much.
I wonder though if we can figure the other test out quickly with the semicolon, but quite uncertain because this class declaration, well, we say with members. So what's the case? For the one if we don't have any body. Then the members is empty. Yes. Well, when we insert that, well, then we have a member. I'm actually surprised that this doesn't work as we would expect it to. And that we get So this is our baseline, but what we actually have, we have the construct in the same line because, well, the original had a semicolon here.
Yep.
Semicolon then is still there. Maybe that's the problem. Ooh, maybe we need to get rid of the semicolon if there is one.
Okay. Is that easy?
Let's check Sharplab. How does this look like? If we check the syntax tree, if the declaration has a semicolon token, maybe we can find that out. Or if it doesn't have open braces or another body or something. No, there's no body. So if we don't have, if we don't have the braces, there's something we can figure out in the node. It's not too loud, is it?
No, it's just like a little. It doesn't bother me. I actually, unless you pointed out, I wouldn't have even noticed. But
Okay.
I don't know. What do our viewers think? They get annoyed. Then you have to mute yourself and write everything down that you want to say, like on the screen.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll find a way. So we have if the close brace token and the open brace token, I would suppose. Where is the open brace? Well, that's alphabetically sorted, so I should be able to find it before the P. If they are syntax token none, then we know. Why is there also the semicolon token?
Ooh.
No. So if, oh no, there is. So we could say if the semicolon token is not none, or if the semicolon token is actually semicolon token, then we know so if this node dot semicolon token is of kind semicolon token, that means we actually have. Yeah, we don't have this body. Wait a minute. Is this valid? Oh, is this valid if we have both? Of course it is. Now we have both. Okay, but I think it's about the braces. So it's actually about the braces. So if the open brace token is the open brace token, well, if we have neither. So if we do not have that and the close brace token is the close, not the close brace token. So if we have neither, that means we don't have the semicolon thing. Well, we don't have a body. And what do we need to do now? Add them. So dot open brace token equals to, what can we say with members? Can we say dot with open? With open brace token. How do we create a token? I need to check. I'm getting nervous now.
Nice.
Roslyn quota.
Yes.
What it actually should. Oh no, it doesn't. What if we have just a semicolon? Is this generated? Token. Oh, syntax factory token, syntax kind semicolon token. Okay, so it should be the same. Syntax factory token dot open syntax kind open brace token.
But is the open brace token even there when we don't have it? No.
No, so we add them.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if the check is working.
So the check. Wait a minute. So if we have we need to do them individually, right? So if we don't have the open brace token, add the open brace token. If we don't have the closed brace token, add the closed brace token. Do I get you right?
Actually, I was just wondering if we can check. Well, because we say node, we go to the node, we go to the open brace token, and then we check, is this an open brace token, right?
Yes.
But if we don't even have that, if the node doesn't have an open brace token,
then I believe you need to add it. Because I think that's the case we're running into our test, as we here don't have these tokens.
I was just wondering if you can even check for that if it doesn't exist in that way, because I thought you take like a node and you check the kind, but the node isn't even there, so you can't check the kind.
But it is right.
Yeah.
But it's
if it works, it works. That's fine.
Since this is a token.
Yeah.
A token is, we see that already. That's a struct. A struct can never be null. So in the case it's not there. We could also check it differently. Maybe this makes more sense. If the syntax kind is none, that means it's missing. Maybe this makes it more obvious.
Yeah.
So if the open brace token is none, now maybe we do it like such. We first create our new node. And should we miss the open brace token, let's add the open brace token. And if we
is new node.
Splendid. So if the closed brace token is none, then we say with closed brace token. Let's find out. Well, there may be some spaces going on again.
Spaces.
Oh yes, because the semicolon token is not removed. Do we want to remove that semicolon token in that case?
We can leave it if it's valid.
We could also remove it. Well, it is, but it doesn't really do anything anymore. We could kill it. So we could say let's maybe also we could do maybe just for the fun of it, make it like consistent. Do the check if the semicolon token is the semicolon token. Then now we remove that.
New node is new node semicolon token.
Is there something without semicolon token? How do we remove that actually?
I was gonna just put it to none.
Let's do that. Yeah. Let's do that.
Oops, I didn't mean that. Sorry. That was autocomplete.
No, we need to say with semicolon token.
With semicolon token.
And then use the syntax factory just as we have here, but with the none.
Token syntax kind. Oh my goodness. That's a lot. I'm going to write it. Syntax kind dot none. Easy.
I think one parenthesis is too much. Let's give that a try. Now this may just turn green. Fairly confident. Somewhat confident.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
Confident.
Woo! Perfect.
Cool. Then I guess we have the 80% thing to get the formatting right.
Yeah. Yes.
Not the formatting, the order where do we want to insert it,
Mhm.
which could be tricky. And isn't there just one other corner case that we mentioned? Oh, yes. Do we also want to, because that should be a quick one. We only do it for public types. We only want to produce this diagnostic because that should be a quick one. Because if it's it's an internal, if it's internal or private type, well, do we mind? No, because the public types, they are consumable. So we have this one, and we say non-public class should not report. So we have an internal class, a private class. We could also do with internal protected and private protected, but yeah, let's not mess with these too much. Now I would expect this to fail.
Yeah.
And I would like you to make it pass because wait a minute. Why do we get sweet diagnostics? Oh, because a top level private class is invalid. Yeah, it is invalid. C#. You can have a private class if it's nested in another class. But yeah, this is then more to do's here. Okay, we actually got that, but to do also test nested classes.
Okay.
But this is then for different, because I think this is also then going more and more into the 80% sphere of it. But yeah, this one is failing. We do expect a 0 diagnostics, but we get 1 diagnostic, which should be our diagnostic. It is.
Yes, perfect.
Make it go away.
But so this
in the here. No.
What?
Default constructor analyst. There we are.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you. Yes, I'm here. Am I here? Yes, I'm here. Awesome. Okay. So I'm gonna just add it on the bottom. If that's okay. Is that fine? Or should I add it at the top? Is this like the first thing we should check? I don't know. Okay. I guess context again. Right. Wait, actually, where are we going? Not context. Symbol. Symbol
may yield this information. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. And what is it? Is there an is for it?
Is there something like public or something like that?
No. But what are they?
Accessibility, something.
That's it. No. Not sure.
No public. Accessibility, public.
You said this was easy.
Well, I was hoping it was. That we have.
Okay, but where could this?
We have
or is it
declared accessibility.
Oh, okay. Maybe. Oh, cool. Okay.
I'm wondering why auto completion did not help there. Let's
blame auto completion.
Saddens me. And this has an accessibility enum, which has all of the accessibilities. Also the protected internals and the protected private, but let's deal with them
we want
later.
to do it if it's
only for public types. Ooh.
So if it's not public, we want to return.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Return. What? No.
Now there's another corner case. Writing analyzers and CodeFixers is hard.
What's your corner case?
Language that is more than 20 years old. Well, this should pass pretty easily with flying colors, as in green. Non-public class, all is green, wonderful. What you can do, well, per default, if you have an internal type, you can only see or access this internal type within the same assembly.
Yep.
Unless you make,
No.
there is something like internals visible too.
Uh-huh.
I need to look that up. Internals visible. No, wait a minute. That's an attribute. So you could, on your project, let's say here on our library, actually, let's see with here class 1 and our sample, our consumer, let's reconstruct this example. So I'm here now having class 1 instance equals new. So the same example that we had earlier. Let's reference this library. Cool. Now, what if we make this type internal? Okay, well, we can't see it because it's internal. Unless we add this nasty attribute. Just calling it attributes here, where we could say on an assembly level, internals visible to, and now specify the name of the assembly that the internals of this assembly are visible to. And the target assembly that we want to make it visible to is the samples. So, well, if I would enter a different name, let's say samples 1, save and build,
doesn't work.
We still get the problem, still inaccessible due to the protection level. But ultimately accessible to the assembly with that name, we build it. Now it is accessible. So what we may want to consider is, well, this is now a question, do we want to consider this or not? So if we make your internals visible, is this, maybe this is something that we even may want to make our analyzer configurable, to choose some default if there is internals visible to, because technically internals visible to now means every internal is now as if it was public to this assembly. So I would still run into this potential problem. I now add some constructor that is not parameterless, and I break a consumer, although the type is quite internal.
Yeah.
So we could not assume a default whether we ignore that case or we do not. And then if we opt in, or opt out, depending, well, if we opt in, then we need to check, do we have the internals visible to attribute? And if we do, then also consider internal types.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this is definitely for another episode.
This is definitely for another episode. I completely agree. We made some great progress, actually, considering how much I contributed. I'm very surprised. Usually those episodes, take slightly longer.
That into the configuration. You did it pretty well today.
Thank you.
Also, then also report for internals. In the meantime, I was hoping, I'm just checking, maybe it's this property, why we can't, is Roslyn component, why it doesn't work, maybe something else. Just checking, okay, and in the samples, checking a previous solution. Actually, well, the solution that we had last week, we want these, but I believe we do. So this should, oops, excuse me. This should be all there. Yes. Wondering if this makes a difference. I kind of thought it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. Or do we now have? Oh, wait a minute, because we now have it. What if we make it public? No, we don't get the diagnostic.
That's a shame.
But yeah, I mean, we saw it last time. What we now would get, well, our tests confirm all of it.
Yeah.
And Toast and Trimming has arrived just in time.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining.
Now I'm wondering, I may have noticed it too late. Where's our nasty syntax? Now I may probably make a mistake here somewhere. That's the example. Wait a minute. Is there something weird? Oh no, that's the other one. Does not consume these analyzers correctly. And does not exist. This could be an indicator. The reference project doesn't exist. Okay, this may be.
Yep.
Where is this problem? The assembly attribute. Ah, yes. That's the nasty syntax. Internals visible too. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, this makes things hard. Let's get it for now. Sorry, what was I thinking? Yeah, why does this not build? Problems. Wait a minute, is it gone? There we go. So yes. Analyzers. Lib. Succeed. What? The reference project analyzers does not exist. Okay, can't find the analyzers. What am I doing wrong? Let's check. We are here in lib.
Yep.
We are here in lib. We go one back.
Yep.
Then we go into analyzers.
Yep.
Oh. Huh? Oh, this is a different level. Yoy. Okay. That's embarrassing. Bloop. Bloop. And also in the samples. Bloop.
Okay.
Bloop. Now.
Fair enough.
There it is. This is our warning now. This is our warning now. And
yay! Gorgeous.
We have a public type that doesn't have the it only has the implicit default constructor. So if we start adding a new constructor, which isn't parameterless, we start breaking consumers, namely the sample here. And also because it's a library, because if we were to change this to an output type axi, so now this turns into a console application. Warning is gone. Splendid.
Woohoo!
We make it back to a library. Oh, by the way, that's actually the output type. The default, if we don't specifically say library, I think this then says library here. Now we explicitly made it a library. Okay. We have the problem, and now we should be able to Ctrl dot or Alt Enter. Oh yeah, still have our sum title. Maybe let's quickly fix that.
That was great. Oops.
Add explicit parameterless constructor, perhaps.
Yep.
Let's build that. And now, if we Alt Enter, we get add explicit parameterless constructor. And if we do that, there it is.
There it is.
One goes away.
Gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
And
well done.
Now it's very obvious, because if I start messing with this, this is a breaking change. Now that's on me.
Perfect.
Cool.
Amazing.
So we gotta cover some corner cases, or the 20% cases that require 80% of the time. But then I think that is a publishable analyzer.
I agree.
We still want to think about the diagnostic ID, which is potentially even harder than
True. Then implementing anything,
Yes, and that's then there's a pattern that we should stay consistent with.
Yeah.
On the lifetime of our analyzers, because changing these are breaking. But other than that, this marks the launch of our new project.
Awesome. That makes me very happy. Yeah, we've got some work to do. Not for tonight though. Definitely at some point in the future. As promised at the beginning, we have some really exciting episodes coming up for you in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, when are we going to be back? Actually,
We will be back on Tuesday, the 25th of March, with the 3 co-authors of the 2nd edition of Pro.NET Memory Management.
Yes, so you should definitely not miss this episode. I think it's going to be very, very exciting. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So if you haven't already, absolutely subscribe to our any social medias. We're going to post on there as well, so you get a reminder a little bit as well. But you can also note it down right now, put it in your calendar. It's gonna be really, really great. But thank you all so much for joining. Also do some training just in time. We did some link. We did think of you today as well.
Oh, yes.
Thank you to our regulars and any new.
Shall we show the link? Let's show the
viewers.
link.
Yes, show the link. I wrote it, by the way, just so you know.
There we go. So we check. We want to find out if we have any non-explicitly declared constructors, because if we do, we want to cancel. But if there is only explicitly declared ones, which is a singular one, then we have the diagnostic to be reported. We got some final comment about the IDs. Maybe this helps us thinking about them. Another point about IDs is that I like when they can be lined up nicely from 9 to 10. Disturbing for me, that is. Right, I suppose that's the, oops. Like if we have, if I had like such, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we jump to 10 to the string.
Yes.
And now, well, if we sort, if we would, because if we would order that, actually, well, so these are strings, and if we would have this string, if we order them, 10 would come before 9, because, well, the 1 comes before 9, so this one sorts earlier. But with, maybe that's a nice segue. Is this in .NET 14 Preview 1? Wait a minute, .NET 10 Preview 1. I think there is a new comparer. You can now you can create a new string comparer with the option numeric ordering. And the numeric ordering is now actually considering the 10 here and the 9 here as an order, and would then properly sort it like such, because 9 is lower than 10. But that's a new, currently in preview, .NET 10 feature. But yeah, but not quite yet.
Not quite yet, yeah. And it's also like, with the lining up nicely, I totally get that as well. To have that little bump then.
Eric does like our F0 prefix.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much for joining, Eric, as well. It's always great to have you here. Thanks also for your input, everyone. And no, it's been an absolute pleasure. What a great episode.
Yes, indeed. And I think then there is only 2 things left to say. If I find my goodbye slide, always good to see link, and we'll be back.
Yes.